Hi there. Good to have you along again. We continue at the CZI Annual Congress, and we're meeting lots of amazing people who are doing amazing things in this country. And perhaps the sky isn't falling, as Tinashe and
I'm not in that WhatsApp group of the sky is falling. I'm much more optimistic.
Yeah, well,
I think I'm joining this one. I'm also very, very optimistic as well.
Fantastic.
The sun is rising.
The sun is rising.
So we've got with us a gentleman by the name of Kuda, who is doing interesting things in Zim. Kuda,
Yes.
what are you doing?
So my name is Kuda. I'm the founder and also the MD of a company called Mana Group. It's a new startup, almost 3 years old right now. And we are the first indigenous company in Zimbabwe to attempt to localize the importation of filters for trucks, buses.
Importation?
Importation, yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know Mkoma, right now we have about 500,000 trucks and buses in Zimbabwe. And all of these things require filters for every service kit, 10,000 kilometers service kit. And on average, service kit costs about $200. So it's 500,000 times 200 times 12 service kits. That's $1.2 billion worth of filters business in Zimbabwe.
So this sort of stuff.
This is a bit of.
I've never seen a filter this big.
This is quite extreme. This is for a combined harvester.
Again,
this was custom made. There are some items that came from Belarus, and because of the challenge that they have got in Ukraine.
Well, you know, we've got a lot to say about the stuff that came from Belarus.
Lead time went from 3 months to 6 months
To get a filter into the country.
And then they came to us. We gave them a solution, which is this one here, locally made.
So you're making it?
Yes.
So no, why did you say you're importing?
you said he's localizing.
Importation. My apologies, sir.
Okay, can you say that slowly in English? That
So we're the first company in Zimbabwe that is trying to localize the importation of filters.
do you make filters?
Yes, we make filters.
Okay, so you make filters locally.
Yes.
You don't import them.
We don't import them here.
Okay.
So we're
No,
the
I
first
understand.
guys trying to make them in Zimbabwe, made by Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe, for Africa and beyond.
Okay, so you make something this complex for a combine harvester.
Yes.
And for my smoker.
Smoke, we do as well. So we make even as small as this much. I should have brought some samples as well. As small as this much for jet skis, to as big as this much for combine harvesters. And obviously anything in between, which is your trucks, your buses, your earth moving equipment, your farming equipment, your generators, literally anything with a diesel or petrol engine.
So how did you start doing this?
Well, I've been in this business, but before Ngoma, Nasi's said you sure it's called Friday drinks.
President, yes. Yeah.
Where are the drinks?
Our producer doesn't allow us to drink before lunch.
Even though it's 5 p.m. somewhere in the world.
Okay.
And I have snuck in a couple.
Okay, like you.
Shh, don't tell him.
I think I should have come a bit earlier.
But I think in the next hour or so, it'll be after lunch, and we will be.
Okay, hopefully this
Very much
interview
licensed.
will expand onto.
Yes. What is your tipple of choice, by the way?
I'm a Glen 12 guy.
Ah, nice.
I'm
Single malt whiskey.
Yeah, I'm simple.
We have a friend, Msoni, who's promised to come by with something interesting to drink. And
Okay. What time is
Glen
this?
12 is his go-to drink. So
No, this is my
fingers
default
crossed.
drink, and it's simple, it's elegant, it does the job.
Fantastic. So how did you end up in this business of building filters?
So it's a very sad story, my brother.
Sad.
Very sad. That I was born in 1985, and the year that I was born, the car industry in Zimbabwe, that is manufacturing, assembling, everything, the stuff made in Zimbabwe, was number 2 in Africa in 1985.
Okay.
That means in terms of vehicles produced in Zimbabwe, in our country, you're the second biggest.
Second only to South Africa.
Only South Africa in 1985. This went all the way up until 92, 93 before ASAP came.
Okay.
And then right now,
Also blame Chidzero, eh?
no, we blame Zimbabweans. We blame ourselves. I blame myself, mainly myself.
You were 7 years old.
Yeah, I'm a Zimbabwean.
Okay.
I don't think my kids will know who understand this, or my grandkids, or some 100 years they won't forgive me. So that's where we are now. And right now we are not even in the top 30 or top 40
In Africa.
in Africa. We are way behind. 0. There is no R&D being done here. There is no localization being done here. There is nothing being done in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
You know, Mkoma, just as a wild example, you know the steering wheel. The steering wheel. That leather that's around that steering wheel.
Yes.
If we localize that production of that leather for the steering wheel, for all the vehicles made globally, we become the go-to guy for procuring that leather. That's like more than 3 times the GDP of our country. Just that small part. Just that small part. And we can do that.
So why don't we do it? I mean, that's mind-blowing. I mean, I can't imagine there's many cows. I mean, okay, it's a lot of cows, but...
No, it's enough.
But we've got enough cows here.
We have enough cows, we have enough leather, we have got enough raw materials, we've got enough people to sow them, we've got enough minds to
think about how to
design it. That's
so why aren't we doing it?
Well, we're not doing many things. First of all, we're importing toothpicks, we're importing condoms, we're importing tissues. It's a sickness that we have as Zimbabweans. We've become a kind of buyers and sellers.
Why?
We blame ourselves.
You think it's just a mindset issue?
It's a mindset issue.
It's not a macro issue.
It's a mindset issue. It's a cultural issue.
So you're saying you can make these...
But isn't it, okay, I want to push back on this narrative about that, you know, it's a mindset issue. Because I also think that perhaps, and I could be wrong, there is a real issue in terms of building any industry, right? The timeline involved. So if I want to set up shop as a trader, right?
Yes.
If I want to compete with you, and instead of actually building the filters that you're building,
yes,
if I just want to import them and market to the players that actually service vehicles,
yes,
right? The capital outlay would be much, much smaller than what you have had to put down to actually build facilities to manufacture the filters. The technical know-how that I need is much, much less. I don't need to employ qualified engineers and people who can actually run a factory. I just need to know from the guys doing the servicing what filters they're using, where to buy. So it's much, much easier to trade than to manufacture. And so in the context of Zimbabwe today, right, an investment in manufacturing is, the investment horizon is 18 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. But if you look at the macroeconomic policy framework, it's changing every 30 days. So how does anybody make a commitment to build something that takes years to earn a return?
That's a very complex question. I'm trying to find a very simple...
You've made that decision.
Yes.
You obviously, you were
Yes,
somewhere
so
in the real world.
why didn't you just start importing gut filters?
No, because there's a saying which is, I went to school in Japan, by the way. There's a very famous saying.
That's an interesting story. We'll come back to it.
There's a very interesting saying that says, monozukuri wa kunizukuri in Japanese. This means in English, direct translation, making things makes a country. And whenever I go to any country, I've been to more than 100 countries, fortunately enough, I've been lucky enough to travel. Whenever I go to any country, they ask me 3 things. Where do you come from? I come from Zimbabwe. What do you eat? I eat sadza. And then they ask me, the third question is, what do you make? What do you make in your country?
And what do you say?
Lord have mercy. I don't know what to say. I'm flabbergasted.
Tobacco.
I don't know. Nothing to say. And now, as a very proud Zimbabwean, as a very proud man, it's something that you have to come back and address. That's why I came back to Zimbabwe. And these filters that we make here, these good quality filters that we make here, this is not our end game. This is only an entry point. When I start making, now we're making filters, we're making brake pads, we're making batteries, we're making until we make cars, literally.
But okay, is this cost competitive?
Yes.
Against an imported filter?
Yes, at least 25% cheaper.
Why? Is it because of the duty? If you remove the duty issue,
no.
Is this cost competitive?
No, because this is an open secret, by the way. So now this thing here, the volume of this thing here is almost 60% air.
Yes.
Because so if I'm to import this thing and put this in a 20-foot container, do you know how many I'm going to put? Not more than 200.
Yeah.
Container regular Zara. Then the cost of a 20-foot container from Germany to Harare is almost $15,000.
Okay. And yet it's mainly paper.
Mainly paper. But now if I import the raw materials before they're folded, just paper, I can import enough paper to manufacture 5,000 filters.
In the same container?
In the same container.
So the mathematics is completely different.
And I've been doing these studies, so I didn't just come and say I want to make filters. You try many things, you see what can you do, where is the metrics of the economy, is what I'm going to say, then we came up with filters. Okay. And then next we're going for brake pads, we're going for batteries, we're going for windscreens, and we're going for leather, big time.
Okay, that's very interesting. You mentioned you went to school in Japan, and off air you mentioned that you've worked for Mercedes. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your story and how you end up here?
Yes. Now you should give us some beer now.
I like this man.
I hope the producer is listening.
Who's the producer?
Ranga.
Ranga, give us some beer.
Ranga, the people want beer.
Okay. Yeah, so I left Zimbabwe in 2005. I went to Japan, did 1 year.
Why did you go to Japan?
Because first of all, my uncle was there, and he offered me a place to come and stay. And back then, I didn't have many options, so I took that as a blessing. And then I went to Japan, did 1 year, 6 months of language school. Went to university, did 4 years of undergraduate studies in development economics.
Japan?
In Japan as well. From there, went to do my master's in business administration. And then after that, I wanted to work for the UN. So I went to the United Nations University in Tokyo and in New York, did my master's in international peace and security. Unfortunately, that did not work out, so I joined a Japanese trading company called Mitsubishi. Then whilst I was there, this company was bought by Daimler. They bought 89% of that company. Mitsubishi
Daimler, the mother company of Mercedes.
Yes.
Yep.
So they're looking for a handover team. It was called the integration team. Like 200 people coming from Tokyo to go to Japan, and then to go to Germany. Then 200 people coming from Germany to go to Tokyo. So because I was there, the only guy that could speak both English and Japanese at the same time.
So they got a black Zimbabwean to bring
represent
Japanese and Germans together.
Yes. And actually, that works out pretty well as well. Because if someone is coming from the outside, they observe the differences from both cultures. And me being an outsider as well, I was able to be very neutral to see what is there. And this being a business environment, highly international environment as well, it was good to have a multi-dimensional team which was there as well. So that's when I moved to Germany. Then while I was there, sort of somehow became the expert or go to guy on issues with Africa. So we then moved from there, went to India. Moved from India, back to Nairobi to lead the regional center for Africa for Mercedes-Benz in East Africa. And then did that, went back to Dubai. And then after that, I came back to Zimbabwe to start my dream of contributing towards the development of my country. Trying to utilize what I've learned, different capacities, different dimensions, different experiences. And then now we're here since 2019 with Mana Group.
Why did you come back?
I had to come back.
Why?
The day that I left, I knew that I was going to come back.
But you had a good life.
Very good life.
You were earning proper money, and you came back to one gauge.
No, but then it was not, actually it's not proper money. It was enough money to buy a nice car. Actually, they gave us a brand new car after every 3 months. Huh?
Wow.
You could choose whatever you want. And so now, what I did there was enough to give me a comfortable life. Nice house, kids would go to good schools, wear nice suits, drink good wine and stuff. But there was nothing that I could do there that could give me a generational impact. But this here will give me a generational impact.
Okay.
So, and even if I was working for Mercedes-Benz, if it met me in the bathroom, you would have asked me to come for an interview.
If it was in Stuttgart.
Yeah, just good luck, my friend. I'll buy you a beer. And it ends there. But because what we're doing is significant for the country, we are creating jobs, we are creating balance of payments for the country, we are creating pride in Zimbabweans. This what gives me energy.
Okay, so we've got to wind up this discussion.
Sure.
Or else
we'll
need to have beer. But I'd like you to look directly at the audience in those two cameras. And I'd like you to speak to two audiences, right? I'd like you to speak to Zimbabwean professionals in diaspora.
Yes.
And I'd like you to speak to policymakers in Zimbabwe.
Okay. For my brothers and sisters in the diaspora, the country really appreciates what you guys are doing. I was there before, supporting our relatives, supporting our country with money. That's very important, and that is what has sustained many people. And also, I was able to leave the country and go overseas because of people who were in the diaspora supporting me. That's very important. But that is only able to give us fish to eat today. What we need as a country is we need fishing rods. We need long-term structures. Unless you guys are prepared to be sending money every month to buy milk and sugar.
Forever.
For everyone, forever.
And that's good. Forever. That's good. But right now, wherever you guys are, there are many things happening there. Many things which are like 20, 50 years ahead of what we are right now in Zimbabwe. So what is most important is that you guys somehow find the ways, networking through your networks, through your resources, through your whatever that you have, experiences. Find ways that you can come back and contribute to this country. You can be offshore, you can be on the ground like me. Either way, find somehow ways to partner with people. You can invest in ongoing businesses, you can start your own businesses, but some of the country needs you. You need to import. We are importing toothpicks, we're importing clothes, we're importing shoes, we're importing tissues. All of these are things that we can produce locally in Zimbabwe. That's number one.
And to policymakers?
Policymakers in Zimbabwe, the last 2 years have been very fantastic, and we appreciate what's been happening. There is now a change of paradigm towards being more open for business, being more transparent, crack down on corruption. That's very good. That creates a positive environment for us to work and to invest in the country. But now, much more important, this is now on the defensive side. We as a country, I think we now need to go on the offensive. Let's protect our local manufacturers. Let's protect our local industry. Let's resuscitate our local industries. Lots has been happening, which is very good, but more needs to be done to support those guys who are making things in Zimbabwe. Those guys are not just making things in Zimbabwe, they're importing, they're employing people, which is very important. And number two, they are also creating a balance of payments as well. They are reducing imports, and also even some of them are exporting as well, which is very good for the country. And nothing can beat these two things. Nothing can beat these two things. Like I said, I'll just repeat this because it's very important. If Zimbabwe as a country can localize the manufacture of steering leather for the global automotive industry,
We're talking
about
$60 billion.
100 billion over. All of those cars, yes. All of those cars. I don't know, 50 million vehicles are being made per year. Times maybe that costs about maybe $50. That's at least 50 billion per year. Only on that. We can employ the whole country. Today, please come to Zimbabwe and work in Zimbabwe. That can be done. Only by one small part. In a car, there are at least 10,000 moving parts. That means in a car, there are 10,000 factories that need to be made. And if one factory employs 100 people, some employ more. That's 100,000. That's 10,000 times 100. That's 1 million people, 10 million people being employed. Make one car. And then there's R&D, there's after sales, there's strategy, there's aftermarkets.
Kuda, it's been great having you.
Yeah.
Yep, you've been a breath of fresh air. Hopefully, you'll join us later when we have tipple on the table.
Please. Next time, don't invite me without drinks, please.
Ranga, I hope you're listening. It's been good having you along.
Okay.
We are still at the Congress and we continue to meet interesting people, and we'll try and bring more and more of them to sit here and give you some of their perspectives. Enjoy the rest of your day. Lovely having you along.
And please buy Mana Group products.
Hangi. Apana kana chikafu.
Hey, indlala hey. Bazasibulala ngendlala wanhlaba.
Andikho ukubikileko.
Asabe.
Imukubike makabeji.
Ifuna usibulalisa ngendlala
Kwethe sekuru. Bayeza bayenyaradzo bayathatha imali. Bayabuya kathesi nje so.
Ngoyida kunyaraza.
Wonke sekuru.
The Sawira Connect card, connecting you to an easier and more convenient way to receive your funeral grocery allowance. Wipe away delays. Say goodbye to payment interruptions with just one simple swipe, 24/7. The Sawira Connect card, made for your convenience. Anytime, anywhere. Access made easy. For more information, connect with us today.
Hello there, and here we are. We continue recording at the CZI Congress. We are talking to lots of very interesting people that are doing amazing things. And we've got with us Leslie from Glide Time Foods.
Yeah.
A new young manufacturing business in Zim has grown. Why am I telling your story? You tell your story.
Yeah, probably we've got a shared vision, eh? Yeah, well, my name is Leslie, right?
Sorry, Leslie, before you do that, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking water today.
Why?
Why?
Well, I'm on a very strict health diet.
Okay.
So I'm just doing water.
You clearly haven't received the wisdom that a glass of wine a day is really good.
Probably after this show, I'll have the wisdom and go and try it.
And you look like you've graduated onto grown-up things?
Well, I wouldn't say I've graduated, but we somehow weren't particularly organized about drinks today. And so I am drinking Musoni's signature drink, gin and tonic.
Gin and talk what? And I'm having a Nyanga craft cider, a locally made cider that's made from apple and strawberry in Nyanga.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff. I mean, we've had
the hops version, we had the apple version,
and we've had the strawberry
and the whiskey. We've tried quite a bunch of things. I hope we're not.
Ranga must not find out what we today. So anyway, while other people have been discussing very important things, we've been sampling
interesting beverages,
local products,
and having interesting conversations.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, Leslie.
Okay.
You were about to tell us what you do and what makes it interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm running a food manufacturing business called Glide Time Foods, rightly said, established in 2018 in a very turbulent environment, but we have managed to glide around the dynamics. We are still there. We are on our feet. Currently, we are servicing the local market. All the main retails, your TMP Can Pay, your Bomashare, your Kmart's, Food Lovers, you name it. We are also doing Zambia, the main retail supermarkets again. So yeah.
What do you make?
We do cereals, low sugar cookies. We do oats. We have honey, healthy snacks. So our business is mainly about health and wellness, you know. So yeah, I think the market has also really adopted as it has really accepted our products, and that's a good thing.
So you actually manufacture the stuff, yeah?
Yeah, we do the manufacturing here, 24 hours, 6 days a week.
Okay, and your key raw materials?
Key raw materials, mainly we use oats. Oats is like the anchor raw material that
you
we
get it
have.
locally?
There's a portion that we get it local, around 20-30%, because of quality issues and price issues. We then import some from South Africa, which mainly come from your UK and Canada, mainly. But we then
import oats.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
So,
yes, we do.
I'm quite curious. And this speaks to a theme that of discussions we've had earlier around manufacturing locally, which is it's so much easier in the current macroeconomic environment to just be a trader, right? If you have the marketing skill set to generate the orders from big retailers like Pick and Pay or Kmart and at all, and the same in another market like Zambia.
Yes.
Right? Why bother with the hard work of standing up a factory, installing machinery and equipment, and actually
a long payback? You're taking a risk for 3, 4, 5
3, 4, 5
okay.
years. Yeah.
When you could basically create a brand, tell the manufacturer in South Africa or someplace cheap, the way you want to package your brand, and then just bring in the finished product, and sell it. Like, it's so much easier to be a trader. And so I have a lot of respect and admiration for people who actually go the route that you've chosen. Because I feel like it's so much harder than just being a trader. So what made you? What gave you conviction that was a better path than just being a trader?
No, very interesting dynamic that you're bringing up. It's very true. If you look at our macro environment, you need a short cycle time, I'll say. So bringing in finished product gives you a short cycle time, you know. Bringing in a semi-processed product like your rice, you down pack it, is a short cycle time. But when you're manufacturing, the cycle time is big. You know, you have to bring in raw materials, you convert them, you distribute, you market, you know, you sell and then get the money, which is like a very, very long winding route, as you have mentioned. So there are two things. The first thing is bringing in semi-finished or bringing in the finished product allows you to chase for the money. You quickly chase for the money. But in my view, it also then does not bring what we call sustainability. In the sense, it's, I would call that kind of a business a Me Too business. Everyone with excess cash can get into that business easily, no reservation. But if you want to talk about building a brand, let's talk about well-built brands, your Kellogg's, your Coca-Cola, your Nestle. They have invested in what we call systems. They've invested in what we call processes. They've invested in integrated value chains. So in creating an integrated value chain does not have an immediate result, immediate payback, but it then creates what we call cross-generational wealth. In cross-generational wealth, you can then build a brand which can outlive your existence, or which can outlive your competence or your energy to be in the game. So I think that's my thinking, to say, you know what, I can actually come up with a $1 billion in a business. I can actually create cross-generational wealth rather than being a trader, because look, trader, low barriers of entry. Somebody can just, if you pack rice, what can stop the next person from doing the same? But look at Coca-Cola. They've archived a recipe for more than a century now, and they are still getting, you know, the return on investment. The first year Coca-Cola was developed, they only sold 25 bottles. You know, it did not make sense. But now those guys are raking in more than 50, 70 billion annual. So I think that's the thinking that I have. My thinking is, you know, futuristic. Is not about the now thing.
Okay, and yeah. Are you winning?
Well,
are you winning against the traders?
I would say I've got my share, I've got my portion, and I'm happy. It's also, the cake is also
huge.
Yeah, it's developing. Yeah,
because retail and wholesale is the biggest sector in our country.
Yes, yeah. And look, the confines now. Let me give you an example. Now I'm exporting my product, my formulation to Zambia, and I'm working on developing the Botswana market. But if you have imported a brand from South Africa, which is already existent in that market, you can only trade within a specific geographical location. So there are confines to those kind of models. Yes, they'll give you the dollar that you're chasing for, but I also then feel that they are restrictive in terms of, because you don't own the means of production, you don't own the formulation.
So, okay, tell us a bit about your background. I mean, how did you end up in this situation?
Growing up, I was a very ambitious young person, and I was a very good cook, very good cook. I still remember in 2005, I actually got the first A in food and nutrition. You know, after the subject was introduced in '95, I got it in 2005.
At your school?
At my school.
Which school was it?
It was Mnene in Berengwa. Yeah, so I was very passionate.
So you're a guy who went to rural school?
Yeah, I would say mission school. Yeah, I did not attend cheesy schools. I went to, you know, those mission schools, and I'm proud of it because it made me who I am. You know, I was not very comfortable in that space, and I always wanted to, wanted better. You know, I wanted to, and I mean, things are shaping up. I'm finding my space, my foot in the corporate world. I'm bringing identity to myself, and that's one thing that I'm really proud of. Yeah. Something that I'm really proud of.
So, just to segue a little bit, if you'll allow me.
Yeah.
One of the issues that we have commented on our show many times with Zimbabwean business people is that, you know, our market is, you know, our population is 15 million.
Yeah.
We're, you know, on a good day, we're an $18 billion economy.
Yeah.
But the world is globalized,
Yes.
and the world is much, much bigger than Zimbabwe.
Uh-huh.
And we've often been vexed by the extent that businesses in this part of the world tend to be inward looking.
Yeah.
They are obsessed with market share within Zimbabwe and have absolutely no interest in unlocking and benefiting from markets beyond our borders.
Yes,
so you've indicated that you have a foothold in the Zambian market, and you're already working on Botswana. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that you're not going to stop at those two markets. You're going to look at every market, in Africa that might be receptive to your product. So what made you look to those export markets? Because that's not the norm for Zimbabwean business people. Zimbabwean business people tend to be very inward looking.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe I'll just combine the two questions, what he asked previously and what you're asking. To say, I think I'm looking beyond the horizon. My vision is not just to create a local brand, but I'm localizing, using local resources to create a global brand. My vision is to, break the barriers, the normal barriers that any small-minded business person would have. My vision is to actually have a very strong foothold, a brand that really goes global, right? Which follows my background to say I actually went to school, did an food science and technology as a degree. I did an MBA in strategic management. I worked for about 6 years in this food manufacturing industry. I then left to really set up my factory. When I look at Zim as a market, like you're rightly saying, it's not as big, it's not a very big market. It's just we're still, the level of disposable income in this economy is very low. Yeah, it's very tiny. So there's no disposable income. The market is small, and what we call consumerism, the level of consumerism, in terms of health and wellness. When you go to South Africa, the consumerism level is better. When you go to these other regional countries, the consumerism is better. But in Zimbabwe, the level of consumerism, we are basic people. It's all about, have I got the basic commodities? Have I got, we live a day at a time. Do you understand? So my intention now is to, and also the beauty of participating around, the reason why you see businesses like Nestle, your Delta, your Kellogg's, they have got this continuous growth trajectory is because of this cross-market subsidization. When you're in Zambia, there are things that you learn in Zambia that are not here. And you can actually tap into that knowledge and implement in this market. When you're in Tanzania, there are things that are
unique to Tanzania.
Yes. But you can now then integrate that cross-market subsidization can actually solidify the brand. And it actually helps in terms of the maturity of how the business is conducted. So that's another secret that, you say these businesses, year and year, they are increasing on their revenue. But as local players, we are in here, the next time we're out of the market because we don't also know how to solve some of the problems that we have.
So Leslie, because we got to go.
Yeah.
But if you've got two things to say. I'd like to ask you to look in there.
Okay.
The camera in front of you.
Okay.
And talk to budding entrepreneurs in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And talk to policymakers.
Okay.
And say one thing to each of them.
All right. To budding entrepreneurs, we are in a very turbulent environment, a very difficult environment, but we need to convert whatever is happening around us as a learning curve. I think the dynamics which are in Zimbabwe, if you go to any other country, it's something that happens within a month can actually take a decade or so to happen in other stable markets. So I think we now need to then gladiate or learn from those dynamics, and then they have to make us strong, and then they have to then make us conquer the world, because we have seen the West. We have seen the dynamics have changed in all directions. And that would have, how it is, the purity of gold is actually tested in the hardship or on the temperature of the furnace. So I think this is what exactly has happened. let's not despair because of what is around us, but it has to make us strong to stay on our feet and fight. I think that's what I can say to young entrepreneurs. So giving up is not an option. We don't stop going to war because of the terrain. We don't stop going to war because of the terrain, but we adapt to the terrain and conquer the war. So I think that's what I need to say to budding entrepreneurs and to policymakers. It's pretty much, we need stability. We need consistency in policies. We need a broad consultation in terms of policy making, so that because policy enables business. If there is no coherence, if policies change each and every second, it becomes very difficult for businesses to adopt. So I think policies should be in such a way that they encourage growth, they encourage development, they also encourage the ease of doing business.
Fantastic.
Leslie,
I completely agree with those sentiments.
I mean, you can't argue that. Leslie, it's been great having you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And in the coming weeks, should your schedule allow and your temperament permit, we would love to have you at our bar for a full episode.
Oh,
and hopefully you're going to have something
more interesting than water.
Maybe sparkling water.
It's been lovely having you along. I'm not sure where we found this guy. But it's been lovely having you along. We hope you've learned a thing or two from the people that actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
At a funeral in the rural areas, there is a lot of work to be done. Fetching water, firewood, stones, bricks, and other things to save for Tonde. Tonde is sitting down where the elders are sitting. The young men are not happy with this because Tonde is the only one who knows everything that needs to be done as the mourners wait for the body of the deceased that is still to come to the rural home. The elders are keeping him close and constantly consulting him.
Listen, Zingai. You see, among all these old men, nobody knows how your late brother's funeral police works. Tonde here is a friend who works at Nyarazo. The friend is helping us with all the information, so we need Tonde close to us. You should be thanking Tonde because everything is circuitika nyore.
Neni Osekun, I just remember that I have a friend at Nyarazo. Maybe I can help if Tonde can't find his phone.
Introducing Sawi, the chatbot from Nyarazo. Speak to Sawi for all your queries and inquiries. The benefits of having Sawi by your side are endless. When you need to know about our policy, Nyarazo products, payment platforms, claims, the Sawira International Plan, where to find the Nyarazo branches, Nyarazo contact details, how to apply, and any questions you may have. And she can help you find who you want to speak to. For your convenience, you can ask about anything, from our funeral services, counseling to your payments, and much more. Experience the benefit of having Sawi by your side. App Sawi today on WhatsApp number 0712 992 892. Nyarazo, Sawira mukuru, omgane omkulu.
Hello there. We are at the CZI Annual Congress, and as the Congress winds up, we've got the opportunity to speak to the President of the Confederation of Zimbabwean Industries, Kurai. We've had him on the show before, and he's always got very interesting things to say. This time we're fortunate to have him at the end of the Congress.
Thank you.
And we're hoping that he may shed light on the discussions that have been had. They've been doing more serious things than
us, clearly.
As you are more than aware.
Yeah.
And maybe, do we see light at the end of the tunnel? What's the way forward? But anyway, we'll leave it to you, Mr. President. How has the Congress been?
No, thank you so much for having me. We have had this over the past 3 days, today being the last day. And obviously, the attendance has been good to some extent, especially the first day. The attendance was very good. As we were discussing earlier, maybe holding this such events here in Harare, it has got its own advantages and disadvantages. Advantages, well, you cut costs and so on, but when people are near their offices, there is so much to do, so attendance gets disrupted because somebody has got to attend to pressing issues somewhere else. But be that as it may, I would say the deliberations that have been taking place here have been very good. As we know, the theme of our Congress has been localize, meaning you've got to localize, you've got to globalize. You can't operate in an island. We are too small to affect the world, but we are also too small not to be affected by what is happening in the global market. So we've got to be responsive to that.
Okay, that's a very nice platitude.
Yes.
But realistically speaking, I run a small business.
Yes.
I am baking bread in Maputo.
Yes.
What does this mean for me at my level?
At your level, obviously, it means a lot if you are a bread maker. For example, as you know, bread, you have got our local wheat, which is the dry wheat, but you need they call it the soft wheat to blend with your dry wheat to make your bread. So where do you get that soft wheat?
Ukraine.
From Ukraine. So yes, the guy in Chitungwiza making such bread may not understand these things, but they are real, they are impacting on that person.
So what have we learned at the Congress that will help this guy in Chitungwiza or in Mavuku or in Langamvura, who's making his 3,000 loaves a day?
Yes, what we have learned is whatever happens, it will impact on the cost input of that bread. So if you've got to go into the market with your bread at $1, that dollar may become $1.10 tomorrow, or $1.20, or depending on what is happening in that global market, you may be able to actually then sell it at 80 cents and push more bread. Maybe you were making 3,000, as you rightly say, depending on the costs, how that is getting impacted from these global events that I'm talking about. It will help you to push more or to push less or get you out of business.
But what must he do? So yes, there's a war in Ukraine. What must this guy do? How should he be thinking?
There are obviously other issues of efficiencies that obviously come to how you make your bread. What other cost input, your labor input, your efficiencies, how do you make that bread? I know bread is a commodity. There is very little branding that you can do.
I have to change gears a little bit. I think one of the, for me, I took my hat off and I gave CZI kudos. Sometime this year, before this Congress, when we had an SI that...
You're making your own question, aren't you?
Well, I'm making a question.
Let him finish.
And there was consensus in the market that this SI isn't going to work. It's going to cause problems for everybody in business. And I think in, certainly in the context of the last 5 years, it was unprecedented for the CZI to actually make a public statement.
Or indeed any business organization.
which was critical of a certain policy action that had problems. And so I took my hat off and I gave the CZI kudos, and because one of the gripes I have with the business community in our country in general is that they are not given to pushing back when there is policy action that is obviously detrimental to the country and business. So I want, maybe if you can give us some context into that unprecedented statement that you made. What
how are you guys thinking?
What is the thought process that led to that statement, and has something changed fundamentally in the attitude of business leaders in our country?
Really, when we looked at that statement, as business, we are in business to make money, we are in business to grow our businesses. And we need the policies that enable us to achieve that objective. So when we are faced with the policies and actions, statutory instruments that inhibit that process, we'll flag it to the authorities to say this action that we are taking is negative to our businesses in this manner. Why can't you engage us? So that we also tell you the negative impact of what you are putting before us. And maybe let's engage and come up with the friendly business policies that enable business to go forward.
I think you're being politically correct here, and you're being politically correct, I think, in the context of your own organization, not in national politics.
Yeah.
But come on, 2008.
Yes.
Or 2006 to 2008.
Yes.
We had much more horrendous, by orders of 8, 10 policies that came out.
Yes.
And not a peep. And now, 12, 14 years later,
down the line, yes.
Now, business is finding its voice. And I think Faro's question is, this is pointing to a fundamental change in the manner business is thinking and business is engaging. And what is that?
Well, we stand for the truth, and we've always been. You might not have noticed it then, but I think our stance has always been the same. Yes, maybe we didn't come up as strong as we did now. We didn't stand at that time as strong as we did now, but by and large, our position has always been the same. And I think it will continue to be the same. Policies that really hinder our businesses, because we are for the growth of this economy.
Absolutely.
We don't stand.
Nobody wants the economy to shrink.
Nobody wants the economy to shrink. Nobody. And I can talk about this Vision 2030. We are 100% behind it. The aspirations of it, we fully understand, because we must lift our people out of poverty. If we can achieve it, that we achieve an upper middle income status, and then our businesses will also be thriving in that environment.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine the spending power when we go up? It will be huge, and we continue growing. So this is what we stand for, and we'll continue to highlight about whatever it is that we notice and we feel as inhibiting factors.
And we support you 100%. We stand for the same.
Yes.
We stand for a better Zimbabwe.
Yes.
A Zimbabwe that is more prosperous.
Yes.
We stand for fuller tummies, and I like to say full tummies and shoes on feet.
Yes.
If every child is wearing shoes,
yes,
and every child has got a full stomach, yes, Zimbabwe will be a better place.
Come on, you should be more ambitious. You know that Kennedy in the 60s, you know what his mantra was?
Yeah.
It was a chicken in every pot and a car in every garage. Why are we aspiring for shoes on feet?
Well, we don't have shoes on feet.
Why? We must say crawl before we can
we can walk.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, since we're now talking about policies, this currency issue, speeding backwards and forwards, and I think one of the areas where CZI and Friday Drinks maybe do not see eye to eye is this issue of the auction. Your feeling at the moment? The government has cut spending, rate is stable, volumes on auction are shrinking, but exports are increasing.
Yes.
It's all very confusing for simpletons like us, especially when we've had a few.
I think when you look at what is currently happening, the money that comes to the auction, I'm not sure if it is shrinking as the quantum. What is shrinking is the participation.
Okay.
Yeah, on that platform because of the shortage.
And the delays.
Yes, and the delays. People have also given up and they found some other way of finding currency. But the other factor is people don't have Zim dollars in their accounts to participate to the extent that they use
this is a good thing. The rate is stable, it's found equilibrium.
Well, there is a caveat to it. It's a good thing that the rates are appearing converging, but the reasons why they are converging, they need to be understood very well.
Well, we stopped printing money.
We did,
and we've
but
stopped making payments as well.
We're making payments from printed money. We've stopped printing money.
But what is the cost to the economy?
So must we continue printing money?
No. We are saying certainly the printing of money we don't agree with. It must not happen. But what is happening now, the effect of the suspension of payments to service providers, to government service providers, is what is actually putting this liquidity squeeze in the market.
What's a better solution? What's a better solution?
What we are saying is government, whatever they are spending, they must spend it from what they collect, not from printing.
But when they do that, the rate moves.
No, it doesn't.
I don't agree with you, George.
It doesn't. If they spend it from what they collect, it will not move.
Because it doesn't affect money supply.
It doesn't.
Not printing. It's not printed money.
It's not printing.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's pay suppliers.
Yes.
At whatever rate the suppliers are charging it.
No. The government knows, and actually, to some extent, I agree with them, that if you know that the cost of an egg, it's $1. Why was
an egg is about 15 cents.
Okay.
If at your house you buy egg for $1.
Okay, let's take your 15 cents. It is an egg is 15,
right?
Okay, it's
about
15
$4 a tray.
Yeah, okay, it's 15 cents. Why was the government paying $1 for it, for an egg?
But it's your members that were charging them.
Yeah, but why were they contracting our members to charge them $1? Their procurement officers must have done their work to say we are not going to take an egg for $1. Maybe 20 cents, because we are going to take time to pay you.
No,
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why should they just pay on time if they are spending their tax revenue?
It's just that we know that the process of government paying those requisitions to make sure everything is done, the payment office processes all payments, they are not going to be done on time. And this is how the animal works. It's just an elephant. It takes time to tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Currency board.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
Is it CZI official position that they think it's a good idea, or it's still a discussion?
Our position, official position, is like this. Let me reaffirm it. We are saying there is short-term position, medium-term, and long-term.
Okay.
Yes. So we believe that the currency board in the long term, because it will take time to put it in.
So 5 years plus.
5 years plus, we can talk of the current board, because obviously we have got to debate it with the authorities and agree the modalities of it and implement it.
But it must be the ultimate goal.
Ultimate goal.
Okay.
There are cases where it has worked. In Bulgaria, it is working, I think, since 1999, and it is working today, and they are being audited on a weekly basis, and it is working. So it can work.
So long term.
Medium term? Medium term, we are saying the multi-currency regime must get on. But there is need to liberalize the market in the sense that the willing buyer, willing seller, or willing seller, willing buyer
must be
must be what it claims to be. What it claims to be.
Okay. And
yes.
short term?
Short term is they must just clear all backlogs.
With what?
Auction.
Yes, but with what?
Yeah. Government is collecting revenue from those who sell in US dollars on the domestic market. Plus.
So is that, the money is not there. Where is it? It must be going somewhere, right? So it's not there.
We think when you look at the balance sheet, it says the money is there. We don't know where it is going, how they are applying it, but our belief is the money is there. They must be able to apply it, even if they have got to actually address it using SDRs. They must do that.
But President, I want to push back, right? So, how much are block funds? 1.5 billion?
No, actually more.
How much are block funds?
Block funds, I think it's about 2.2 or somewhere there.
Okay, so we've got 2.2 block funds.
Yes.
How much USD does Zimra have on its position? Maybe a couple of 100 million?
Yes.
So you've got a big gap. How are you going to fill that gap?
We have got also SDRs.
Okay, that's another billion.
Not a billion anymore.
It's not a billion. Maybe another 500.
300 million, 500.
Yeah.
So how are we going to cover this gap of 2 billion if we're going to clear all these backlogs? So block funds are 2.2.
Yeah.
We've got auction backlog, which is, I don't know the number.
But when you look at the numbers, it says exports have grown. Yes, it includes minerals. The bulk of that is minerals, but it has grown.
Yes. Immensely.
Immensely, yeah. So we are saying the 40% that is taken from there, where is it going? Maybe what we are asking for is transparency on that surrender of the 40%.
And I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
You talk about transparency.
Yeah.
So my earlier career was in finance.
Yes.
And I specialized in distressed entities.
Yes.
And when you enter a distressed entity as a CFO, everybody wants money. Everybody, the production guys, the HR guys, marketing guys,
employees even want, because the payroll's
enough cash. Yeah. And you know how, and I solved this several times successfully. You know what you do?
Yeah.
Bring everyone into a room with a projector and a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And first, you put a number on the screen. This is how much money we have.
Yes.
Everybody put your requirements.
Yes.
Let's minus that number from the other number. It's negative.
Yes.
Let's build consensus on how to use the money that is there. And then you can dig your way out of distress.
Precisely. This is what we are saying. And it might be true that there is no capacity. But let's understand, let's say have the figures to say, guys, this is the position of the treasury, this is the position of government. And we will agree even to say we are going to ring fence, or you guys take a high cut, we forget about it.
Let's move forward.
Let's move forward. But let's have the information so that we all can make this decision.
And let's
together.
have the conversation. And one of the things that I believe quite fervently is that if we have that conversation in our country, whatever that number is in terms of foreign creditors, block funds, auction backlog, if we are going to have a framework that addresses these issues going forward, we can raise that money in global capital markets. We can raise 20 billion, they raise 30 billion. It can be raised in a heartbeat.
As long as there's consensus and as long as there's transparency. Because, I mean, on the list of things you've listed, we can even put a line for chefs. Like, oh, no, you know, the chefs still need to have imported fruit juice in their offices. Let's put it there.
Yeah.
And we now know, then we can have a discussion about, fruit juice in but we're now having a transparent discussion.
Exactly. When everybody has got...
I like that you chose fruit juice and not whiskey. You're also being politically correct, but anyway, it's okay.
But I mean, I like that you've taken us down this rabbit hole, because this is something that I have seen in corporate rescue, where we've actually said, no, guys, this is a family business. There's no hope in hell that we're going to say the family is not going to get a penny from this business.
Yeah.
So let's put the family's requirements there, let's put the business requirements, and then let's have a discussion with all stakeholders. And we found consensus where they've been able to continue sending their kids to school and the business has been able to move forward. But as long as this discussion is not open and transparent, as you say, and it's being held, well, there's no discussion being held, there's
we're just ignoring the elephant in the room.
Or there's some people that are making the decisions opaquely.
Let's understand how big is that wall. Then we can all have a discussion around it that to close this wall, this is what we need to do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
President, it's been lovely having you along. It's always good having you. You know, we need to have you in the studio and do a proper episode.
Where you're drinking something more interesting than water.
Than this clean drink.
And you relax.
I'm sure anytime you can invite me.
So I'm extending an open invitation in the weeks that are coming. When your schedule allows it and your temperament demands it,
I'll make myself available.
Thank you very much for coming along. It's been a lovely CZI Congress. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for hosting us. We've really enjoyed our time here and the space that we've had. It's been fantastic.
And some of your members have been very generous.
I hope these drinks are coming from our members.
Yes, some of your members who are exhibiting introduced us to some interesting tipple that we didn't know existed until we came here.
I can actually talk about that guy. I was impressed with this guy, the younger guy.
We were quite impressed. We had him on the show actually.
Yes, We need entrepreneurs like this. We need more of these guys. They are young, they are focused, and this is what we take this country forward.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you.
Okay.
So once again, thank you for coming along. It's been lovely having you along. We hope that you take 1 or 2 points from the wisdom
from the serious person on the show.
That actually know what they're talking about.
Thank you.
Have a lovely weekend. Stay safe. Be good. If you can't be good, be good at it.